Welcome back to the Quantum Cave. I'm Mike Longo, and I'm sitting here with Glen Quasny.
And I'm Glen Quasny sitting here with Mike Longo. We're actually in the same room.
Yes, we are. Yeah. One day we will do a show from the grotto.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And I can either go there or we can try doing a telecommute.
We should try doing that. I've been saying forever I was going to get into that and explore it, but
And eventually, if anybody out there is really listening, there will be some kind of pictures or video or something.
Yeah, we should give them something to look at. Maybe the next convention that comes up.
Yes,
Maybe
we want you all to know that we are aware of that flaw and we will work on it.
Yeah,
Okay?
well, some people call it a flaw. Some people like to
Old school.
just listen as they're browsing on the internet.
That is something I've been trying to remember. Back when the internet first was getting going. Way back.
Yeah.
Like originally before they started doing these video blogs and posting things on YouTube and stuff, people used to do shows where it was just audio. Wasn't there a name for that? Was it just called an audio blog?
It was called radio.
Gee, I thought radio had something to do with frequency modulation and radiation going through the airwaves and stuff.
That's too technical for me.
That's too technical. But
Right.
yeah, on the internet. I mean, that's like I was thinking of what's his face, real popular from The Office, the British version, producer, whatever.
Gervais.
He had Ricky Gervais. Thank
Yes.
you so much. And he had a show on the internet where it was just an audio thing, and it was him and two other guys chatting around a table. And now on television on HBO, they've taken it and they've taken that audio and they've put animation with it. And it's really cool because it starts off with the three of them live walking into a sound studio and sitting down, and then it morphs into animated characters of the same three guys.
So they got together to shoot the one thing,
Exactly.
and then they transition.
And then the rest is here. Take our audio blog or whatever it was called, and turn it into shows.
Well, we could do the same thing here. Only use puppets, like sock puppets.
Can I be Cecil? The
If you can
Serpent?
decorate your sock to look like Cecil, you can be Cecil.
I have a T-shirt that has Beanie and Cecil on it, but Cecil has a Superman shirt on and a cape.
Oh,
And that was just like so perfect.
well, that would fit.
Yeah.
That would fit for our show.
Yeah, it's because it's cross popular culture hopping all over the place. Quantum popping.
Quantum popping. We did a little quantum popping at Kamikaze Expo.
Yes, Kamikaze. We went there, and
I had a lot of fun.
it was great. I've been going to conventions since the 70s. I went to a lot of conventions, a lot of comic book conventions, science fiction conventions, so on and so forth. I've been to the Hugo Awards and stuff like that. So, I'm a veteran convention attender, and yet I've always been kind of shy and introverted. I got over it. I finally studied theater arts and everything, and I learned to stand up in front of people and talk. But I would have never gone to a convention in costume, in any kind of costume. Not even a hint of a costume.
Right.
No,
But you did this time.
And so this was new for me. This was the first time going, and I wouldn't have done it without you, because you decided you were going to go as
Carl Kolchak.
the Night Stalker.
Yeah.
And it had never occurred to me either until you brought it up. Carl Kolchak, CK, Clark Kent, CK, and one of my Halloween costumes that I've done repeatedly because it's so simple is put on a gray fedora with a press thing in the hat band and put on my old dark horn rim glasses and just tell everybody I'm Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, right?
Yeah, so CK and CK, two journalists going to see this convention and see what it's all about. Covering the convention. And that was such a brilliant idea. And then added little bits like having me wear the Superman S under my white shirt.
That was great because you could see through the white shirt.
Yeah.
There was something blue underneath. There was something yellow, and you can see the insignia. So I was like,
"Gee, Clark, you kind of screwed up." And that reminds me too. It was actually one of my best convention experiences. All the conventions I've been to, I've been to the artwork galleries and everything. I've had people sign things for me. But this show, going with you, walking in the door, and then right first thing inside the door, the very first booth, they had a full-size mock-up of the TARDIS from Doctor Who.
Right.
And of course a TARDIS is basically a phone box. So of course we had to take a picture of Clark Kent
Yeah.
zipping into the phone box to change to Superman,
Right,
and
right.
that was so perfect. And one of the very first I guess you call them cosplay people or whatever.
Cosplay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the people wearing a costume we ran into was a woman dressed as Power Girl. Of course, Power Girl and Superman are related.
That's right. I like the fact that she stayed in character the
and
whole
she stayed
time.
in character, and I forgot for a second.
And then she like warned you in character to.
That's right, because here I am dressed as
keep your
Clark
cover,
Kent,
right?
and I'm talking to her, and she's like, what was it she said? She said something to the effect of,
Well, she was talking in Pig Latin at one point, I think.
yeah,
But,
something about the
she was very clever.
the secret identity A or whatever.
Right.
Because she said something. She said something about, "Oh, sir, well, it's pleased to meet you. Even though I've never met you before and we're not related."
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, of course, my brain of facts about comic books immediately kicked in, and I went, "Oh no, we're related because you're my cousin."
Whoops.
Oh, and then she was like, "Ixnay on the secret identity, eh?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, that's right." Oh, Clark, you blew it again, Smallville.
And we hung out with some cool people who were also in costume.
Your friends?
Some of my friends, and they'll be going to the next one in Long Beach.
Brianna?
Uh-huh.
Brianna? Hey, I remember the name.
Yeah,
I'm
Brianna
terrible with names,
DeLucia.
but
Mhm.
Brianna, she just really impressed me.
Yeah, she had a great costume. She got stopped everywhere to have
Right, she was a
people,
huge...
She was a hit, and people were interviewing her. And,
Yeah, and I've seen her on the internet.
She's been on the internet now, and people taking pictures with her. She told me that when she was at Dragon Con about a month and a half ago, she must have taken like 200 pictures with fans who recognize her as Link from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
And we should bring her on the show just to talk about how she assembled her costume. It was really...
I would be interested in that.
Yeah.
Too, because I would like to do better. now that you've got me started, if I'm going to do this, I should do it right. Yeah. And speaking about being recognized, we weren't even in the convention. We're walking the sidewalk on the way to the convention, and somebody in a car stops and hollers out,
"Oh,
Kolchak!"
Yeah, that was so funny because I thought no one would recognize Kolchak.
Yeah, 1970s.
Because basically it's plain clothes costume, like 1972 wardrobe and the hat. And yeah, I was out of the car about, I don't know, 8 seconds or so, putting the camera strap on my shoulder. A car stopped in the parking structure, and the driver is pointing at me, "Kolchak! You're Kolchak!" Him and his friend found me later and shook my hand, and they're like, Thank God someone came as Kolchak."
Right, and you may have been the only Kolchak there, which made you an exclusive.
Yeah, I got recognized by some other folks too, and that was a delight. And they weren't all, old people who would remember the show. Some were like, in their 20s. I'm like, how did you ever discover Kolchak?
Yeah, I always wonder that too. It's like, how do you know this stuff?
Yeah.
You weren't born, when this show was on, and yet you know it. And I know there was a reboot, but it was a really bad reboot as far as I'm concerned. It didn't really stay true to the original.
Well, they were probably X-Files fans and found out the origin for...
That's right.
For the X-Files was Kolchak.
And also he played a character on X-Files.
He did.
Which was a Kolchak character. I don't think they ever called him Carl.
No, they wanted him to be Kolchak, but he's like, I already did that character.
Yeah.
Just give me something else. So they created, I think his name was Arthur Dales or something.
Yeah. Darren McGavin, what a great actor.
That guy, he made that role memorable.
Yeah. He was like a role model for all these guys now who come along and go, okay, I'm going to be Monk. An actor who takes a role and creates this, and
Right.
Columbo.
Right.
They all came, I'm pretty sure Columbo came after. He was 70s too.
That was early 70s, right?
It might have been around the same time,
Yeah.
but this idea of an actor taking a particular character and just completely making it his own, where nobody else could ever be that character.
Yeah.
Nobody else could be Monk. Nobody else could be Carl Kolchak.
No.
But in each case, it's a specific actor taking a unique, flawed character who has this ability to see things that nobody else sees. All the little details that we miss.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Carl Kolchak is one of the best ever. Darren McGavin being Carl Kolchak.
Yeah, he made the two TV movies, and then they were a hit, and then they kind of rushed through this TV show, and but he made it worthwhile.
Yeah. You went to see him.
Yeah.
Because and I think even he at some point may have said it. It was a sort of became sort of the monster of the week thing.
Yeah, I had read some things about, some things he wasn't too happy with about the
Yeah.
show. So, and I heard or I read someplace that he was the one who's like, let's end the show because it's not the way I would like it to be.
Right.
It
Yeah.
could be better.
You can only run
And
into so many swamp creatures and stuff. You know.
well, they did in X Files for a long time, all kinds of crazy stuff. But,
Yeah.
so you can do those things, but of course, in the early '70s with no budget, I guess it was a little tougher.
Special effects,
Yeah.
weren't there.
Yeah.
Now you can do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
But
So yeah, at a convention, and then also for the very first time ever, got to see real live in person Julie Newmar.
Julie Newmar, yeah,
To me, best Catwoman ever.
she was the best. We saw Adam West speak, and Burt Ward was there, and a lot of folks were there.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw like around the corner signing autographs was like James Hong, and who I've always been a fan of, and I saw Lou Ferrigno there too.
Lou Ferrigno. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was wonderful. It was my first time listening to Stan Lee. I've seen him in interviews, and he's just like he is in his interviews, and he's out there saying his thing, and what a character.
Really, yeah. And when Stan Lee says something, it is him. It's Stan Lee's unique trademark spin on things, his hyperbole, his over-the-top way of presenting things.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is such a showman. He's such a showman. He's just. It's so great that he has a new company. That it looks like it's going to be successful because this
POW,
whole thing
right?
was put on. It was Stan Lee's Kamikaze.
What does POW stand for?
Ah, yes, that was one of the things he set up on stage, and it was so perfect because he gets up there and he's talking to the fans, and it's just like one of Stan's soapboxes out of the old comics. He was like, hey, true believers, and he's like, and I have my new company called POW, and you know what that stands for? Purveyors of Wonder.
Purveyors of Wonder.
Purveyors of Wonder. And that is such a Stan Lee thing. That is such a Stan Lee moment. And I was so glad to be there and hear him say that. It was just like, wow, that's Stan Lee.
I heard him say Excelsior too.
Excelsior. Yeah, that's Stan Lee's. Nobody else can do that.
Yeah.
Excelsior.
It was a great experience for me. I can't wait to go to the next one. We're going to do more of those. I think you and I, we could have covered it as like a video segment for this, but I think we had a really good time just going there and enjoying the environment because I hadn't done a convention in years.
Me too. I used to be sort of in the biz. For a long time I managed direct distribution warehouses, comic book direct distribution warehouses. I worked, and at that time I used to actually go to the Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con and everything.
Right.
I actually got to sit behind a table and hand out things to people and stuff, which was cool to be there in that capacity and get to meet some people that way. But
well, I think that's
going relaxed with you, I think, was much better for me to ease back into conventions because I think I've headed back into shy mode again. So it was helpful to have a friend say, "Hey, let's go to this thing."
Yeah, and we were with some great people.
And
some lively talking around the table too.
Yeah, and good humor.
Yeah, good humor.
Good sense of humor.
Good people.
Nobody seemed to be. Yeah. They were people you could relax with. And let your ideas flow without having to worry about, how are they going to take this? It's not like when you're at a 9-to-5 job and you got to watch everything you say.
Right. Everyone, it was a good environment, and so I think maybe we'll maybe do a video segment at the next convention in Long Beach.
Coming up, the Long Beach Comic Convention.
And when is it? Is it in the end of October?
It is actually November 3rd and 4th. November 3rd and 4th, Saturday, Sunday, 2 days, in beautiful downtown Long Beach.
Great.
The Long Beach Convention Center.
So we'll do a segment down there, and
which they keep abbreviating on the website as LBCC, which drives me crazy because to me that's Long Beach City College. If you've lived in this area for very long.
That's very confusing.
But yes, so it's Long Beach Convention Center, and it's the Long Beach Comic Convention.
Wow.
And it's shaping up good. I saw that they're going to have Bernie Wrightson, who's one of my all-time favorite artists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, he drew like the best Swamp Things and stuff. It's just cool.
Well, good. We have some things to look forward to. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah.
Right. We'll reconvene.